A deadly virus has decimated most of the planet's population. Awakening amidst a vast grave of 1,000 bodies, one man finds himself trapped, unsure if he's among the living or the dead. With a sudden blink, his body convulses and contorts, resembling that of a zombie or an addict in withdrawal. Surveying his surroundings, he realizes he's in a deep pit surrounded by decaying corpses. Spotting the silhouette of a woman above, he calls out to her for assistance. After a brief pause, she tosses him a rope end and flees. As he prepares to leave, the protagonist finds a revolver in the pit. After navigating the dense, rainy forest at midnight, he stumbles upon a cabin. Loading the gun, he enters to find a group already debating whether to aid the man in the pit. Chaos ensues as they notice him, pointing guns and accusing each other of the deaths nearby, uncertain whose house they occupy. The protagonist tries to explain his situation, having awakened among corpses with no memory, and recounts the help of an Asian woman. Others begin to criticize the woman for assisting him, arguing that they don't even know who he is. However, he's equally unfamiliar with them. Suddenly, a man lying on the floor starts screaming loudly as his body contorts. An attractive blonde rushes to help him while the others watch in shock. The protagonist demands to know what's happening and what's wrong with the man. In response, the man claims he remembers nothing. The blonde adds that none of them remembers anything either. They elaborate that there are no computers or smartphones, so they can't contact the outside world, but they have plastic badges that could reveal their names. The blonde introduces herself as Sharon. One man identifies as Michael, while the other, with a rifle, goes by Lucas. The newly awakened man is named Nathan. However, neither the Asian woman nor the protagonist has any documents. Additionally, the woman remains silent and continuously draws hieroglyphs. The protagonist attempts to decipher her writing and understand why she saved him, but the others clarify that the woman is mute. She hears everything but cannot speak. Furthermore, she doesn't understand English. However, she clearly possesses more knowledge than anyone else because she woke up before the rest of them. The group decides to search the house and piece together the puzzle. The protagonist teams up with Nathan. They explore a storeroom and notice a calendar on a fridge, where the 18th of April is marked in red. Today is the 16th, indicating something significant will occur the day after tomorrow. Meanwhile, Lucas and the Asian woman examine similar bruises from the needles on their veins. In the other room, Michael discovers a cupboard stocked with an array of weapons and ammunition. The group chooses to arm themselves and remain prepared for any eventuality, just in case. Sharon guides the protagonist to the showers, urging him to freshen up. Alone, he experiences peculiar flashbacks for the first time. While showering, he struggles to recall his identity, his name, and the significance of the 18th, but with no success. Suddenly, someone alerts that the Asian woman has fled into the forest. The group arms themselves and sets out to find her. Michael and Nathan stay behind to guard the house. As they explore the library, Nathan realizes he knows Latin and comprehends various medical terms. Meanwhile, Michael discovers his hands and body retain extensive knowledge, such as loading a weapon swiftly. The group continues through the forest, and the protagonist recalls carrying a corpse with a scorpion tattoo. Suddenly, they stumble upon a man's body, bound to a tree with barbed rope. Surveying the area, they realize it's not the only corpse present. They hear a woman scream and head in that direction. Finding a small cabin, they enter to find the Asian woman feeding a woman tied up like an animal. Enraged, she attacks the protagonist, accusing him of exploiting her daughter. He's compelled to subdue her with a rifle butt. They also notice a CCTV camera, suggesting there's a control point nearby. The following morning, the group plans to return to the forest. Michael and the Asian woman stay behind on watch. Suddenly, a man's anguished scream echoes from the forest. They discover him in a clearing, bound with barbed rope. Michael attempts to assist him, but the man unexpectedly attacks, strangling Michael with the rope and thrusting a sharp stick into his neck. Meanwhile, the rest of the group stumbles upon a large heap of branches, where they find two functional cars. Lucas discovers a photo in one of the cars, showing everyone except the protagonist. Suddenly, the Asian woman appears and urgently reports that Michael needs help. The group rushes to the scene, attempting to administer first aid, but Michael succumbs, choking on his own blood. They decide to survey the area and split up. The main character and Sharon reach an abandoned building with the number 18 written on its fence. They explore the area and spot a boy running past. Pursuing him, they find him hiding in a storage space. Peering through a gap, they question him about what he knows. The boy warns Jonah to leave because they are arriving tomorrow. The character learns his name and is astonished by the child's awareness. The boy unleashes a Rottweiler, but the sturdy door protects them. Jonah attempts to break the lock with a rifle but fails. Meanwhile, Nathan observes Lucas feeling unwell, experiencing severe headaches and unsettling flashbacks that suggest familiarity with the Asian lady. Lucas panics and tightly grips her hand until Nathan soothes him. They instruct Lucas to rest afterward, and she opts to guide the man to the cabin with the bound woman. Arriving there, they find the woman has fled, prompting them to search for her. They stumble upon some barracks in the forest where Nathan discovers glasses. Trying them on, he realizes they are his. Nathan also experiences flashbacks of his involvement in experiments on people. Nathan stays behind while the woman returns to the house and encounters Lucas again. He begins to follow her, insisting that he remembers her. However, the Asian lady locks herself in the attic to avoid him. During the search for the woman, Lucas uncovers an entrance to the basement, where he finds various medical flasks, dishes containing human brains, and the control point for observing the cells. All the cell bars are open. Meanwhile, Nathan explores the barracks, where he hears a woman's cry coming from inside one of them. Opening the door, he finds the woman from the cabin holding her deceased daughter. She accuses Nathan of being a murderer and attempts to attack him, but he manages to close the bars in time. Leaving the barracks, Nathan notices strange individuals approaching him from all directions, screaming and clutching their heads. In the basement of the house, Lucas discovers a video camera and views a recording where Jonah announces it's the 96th day of a research project. One of the subjects has shown positive reactions to their injections, indicating progress. However, there's a side effect: memory loss. Subjects initially lose consciousness and nearly perish but later regain consciousness without remembering anything. Lucas and the Asian lady are identified as subjects in the video. Meanwhile, Jonah and Sharon return to the house where Lucas, armed and furious, awaits them. He aims the rifle at Jonah, accusing him of being responsible for their experimentation, citing video evidence. Sharon demands answers from Jonah, who claims he still remembers nothing. Lucas allows Sharon to watch the recording, and she tearfully sides with him. Despite Jonah's attempts to justify himself, Lucas knocks him unconscious with the rifle butt. Upon regaining consciousness, Jonah finds himself dragged by Lucas to the pit of corpses, where he is left. As he struggles through the corpses, he spots the girl with the scorpion tattoo, whom he likely killed. Lucas, now determined, returns to the house with Sharon and the mute girl, demanding car keys. The girls realize he's not thinking clearly. Sharon urges him to calm down and sit, but Lucas acts erratically. He shoves Sharon and pursues the mute girl around the house. Upon catching her, Lucas aggressively attempts to assault her. Sharon intervenes just in time, scaring Lucas away with a gunshot. He leaps out of the window and flees into the forest. Meanwhile, Jonah struggles in the pit among the corpses. He finds it hard to breathe until the Asian lady reappears, tossing him a rope. Jonah climbs out and asks her to return home and keep her distance from him. He decides to locate the boy who might have some information. Upon revisiting the building, Jonah stumbles upon what resembles a makeshift hospital. He uncovers a map of the area with a marked route. Jonah experiences flashbacks of himself persuading a man to transport a container, citing it as their last opportunity. Suddenly, John hears commotion and encounters two infected individuals. He loses grip of the car keys, which the deranged woman swallows before attempting to assault him. Jonah is compelled to defend himself and kills her. Later, he drives the car with the bloodied keys dangling from the ignition. As Jonah travels along the road, he encounters a group of people, including the boy. His infected mother remains restrained inside the car, while the boy's grandmother aims a rifle at John, urging him to cease administering injections. Despite his efforts to understand his actions, they drive away. John spots the same container with flasks near an abandoned vehicle, triggering more flashbacks. He recalls the development of a brain-killing virus and the life-saving vaccine stored in those flasks for military use. Inside another car, he finds a deceased driver with the ID bearing the name Jonah Cook, his own. Additionally, he discovers a joyful photo featuring himself and Sharon. Suddenly, a car emerges and collides with his vehicle. Lucas, visibly ill, is at the wheel. Jonah endeavors to assist him, explaining his benevolent intentions amidst the chaos. Jonah aims to administer the vaccine to Lucas, but Lucas retaliates, attempting to strangle him. Jonah strikes him with a stone, which somewhat pacifies him. Jonah pleads for him to hold on, but Lucas describes the torment within his mind. In his final moments, Lucas experiences flashbacks of gratitude toward Jonah and the others, celebrating their rescue and the return of memories. However, their joy is short-lived as an infected woman breaks free from the confinement, revealing not everyone was saved. Meanwhile, Nathan regains consciousness, recollects recent events, and hastens to find Jonah. He arrives at Sharon's location, and together they fend off the infected assailants besieging the house. Jonah rushes to their aid, recalling the pivotal moment when everything spiraled out of control. He urges everyone to gather in the house and administer the vaccine. However, an infected man catches up to him, inadvertently pushing him into the pit with the corpses. In the depths, Jonah discovers he's been bitten and administers the vaccine. As the dawn of the 18th arrives, Nathan and Sharon persist in battling the infected while Jonah races to assist them. In the distance, the sound of helicopters emerges, and the infected individuals begin to perish. Suddenly, Nathan recollects that the rescue operation was scheduled for the 18th. He desperately attempts to signal the military forces, pleading for them not to open fire. The armed group, under orders to eliminate all survivors, fatally wounds Nathan. Jonah and Sharon, terrified, seek refuge, while the mute girl manages to conceal herself in the forest. Sharon experiences discomfort and discovers she was stabbed by the infected woman from the cabin. Jonah leads Sharon to the pit with the corpses, where they take cover, aiming to evade the military and administer the vaccines once more. Sharon passes Jonah a note to aid in recollecting their experiences. The military arrives and unknowingly discards more bodies into the pit, oblivious to the survivors. Jonah awakens later, his memory blank once more, while the note becomes lost amid the corpses. He extricates himself from Sharon's embrace, retrieves the gun from his pocket, and endeavors to escape. Once again, the nameless Asian woman comes to his rescue. Sharon's voice is heard off-screen, reciting the note, elucidating that they are doctors combating a deadly epidemic. The mute girl holds the key to a cure due to her natural immunity to the virus, making it imperative to save her and, consequently, humanity. In the final scene of the film, Jonah and the mute girl approach the brink of the vast quarry filled with thousands of corpses. Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications for more content like this. Thank you for watching.